You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies, where possibilities are possible. Here's your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey guys, thanks for downloading the show. This past week has been crazy. The past few days I've been dealing with water issues at my house. I live out in the country. There's no water lines running out here from the city. So I have to get my own water from the well. I don't have to pump it myself and bring it into buckets. There's actually a pump by the well that runs water right in with pipes and everything. I always like that because I don't have a water bill. But this week, the pump to the well went on the fritz and it kept going out. The pump is in another building outside and it's been raining all week long. So every couple of hours, I would have to go outside, restart the pump just so my family would have water. Every time the pump would shut off and come back on, the water would be murky for a bit before it would clear up. And it took me a couple of days to figure out what was going wrong. By the time I got it fixed, the water had shut off at least 4 times that day, and it was only probably 2 p.m. And it took a few hours for the water to finally clear up. So I had to deal with that instead of doing a show. Sorry about the bitching right up top, but it's been a very frustrating week, which I'll get into more with this week's Dumbass of the Year. Hopefully the rest of the month will be much, much better. I have a lot of fun shows planned. This month's Dumbass of the Year will be returning. An episode of Martial Law between Mama Kate and Choo Choo Stew. Kenny Bolin will be back, and a lot more. Speaking of Kenny Bolin, I did record some stuff with my friend Maya, who's his daughter-in-law, for this episode. If you're a new listener, you'll recognize her as the person who introed the show. But first, here is this week's Dumbass of the Year. It goes to a man named Jeff, who was my old neighbor. He approached me about picking up gravel in his dump truck so I could put a driveway in my house. The place I moved to didn't have much of a driveway. It was just kind of a small strip by the road. It didn't even go up to the house. We've been parking in the grass. He was going to give me a pretty good deal on it. At least that's how it seemed, so I had him come over and give me an estimate. First time I talked to him was maybe a couple of months ago. I was all ready to go. The guy was going to do it in a day or two, but once I talked to my wife, I realized we didn't have the money to do it right then. There were some bills that I really didn't take into account, and I let him know that night that it would be a little while, but I was definitely going to do it. I wanted to expand the driveway from where it used to be as a kid, because this is the house I grew up in, to include a few more spaces, but in order to do that, I had to lay a base layer so the gravel would have something to sit on so it wouldn't just sink into the ground. It took me a while to do that because I was doing it all by hand and by myself. Once I got everything ready, I called him back and he raised the price. I told him I wanted to see what my wife wanted to do because that was more than he said before, and that was already an issue. Personally, I wanted to find somebody else, but she liked the guy because we used to be neighbors and wanted to help him out, support local people, and blah, blah, blah. So I called him back and said that we'd just go ahead and do it. And he told me that he couldn't get to it until next week, which I was disappointed in, but whatever. The next week comes, and I don't hear from him. So I give him a call, and he said he couldn't do it that week either, and it would be the following week. At this point, I'm sick of my yard looking stupid because where I had to lay the base layer for the extra spots looked really weird. So I told him I wanted to talk to my wife again. When I told him that, he said, "Oh, is she the boss now?" And that kind of pissed me off. I'm not sure how he thought that was going to go, if I was just going to stick with the plan because he tried to make me look stupid and wanted to prove that the wife wasn't the boss or what. But since he tried to emasculate me with his misogynist comment about my wife, I overruled her wanting to use him and I went with a company out of town and got more gravel for a much better price, came the next day, and my driveway looks great. And that is why he is this week's Dumbass of the Year, because he wanted to make a stupid comment and lost quite a bit of money. So I'm not sure how he thought that was going to go. All right, again, that's enough bitching. But it's just been the week from hell, guys. I'm going to play a quick song, and when I come back, I will be with this week's guest, Maya.
I is for the eggs that you eat. C is for the kangaroo with bouncy feet. A is for the otter in the sea. N is for the bird up in the tree. And T is for the house made of sticks. S is for my favorite number, which is 5. P is for tomato, and E is also for tomato. L, why not? It's for tomato, and one more L for that's the end. What's that spell? I don't know.
Give me 1 second. Kenny is saying some bullshit. He's making me watch wrestling. What? 1 second. Touche. Oh my God, Jason! I gotta tell you this story at some point. Seriously, actually, Kenny and I have to tell you this story together. Kenny, are you gonna do a show with us? Yes. Yes. No, you don't have to. You can. Podcast one pays money. Come on. You can watch that in the morning. Yeah, it's really pity. Just to give you like a heads up of what it is. Okay, we want to tell you the story of the Tin Man with an erectile dysfunction. We have to tell you that one. I can't forget it. And then the second one was a fan of his called Jordan. This piece of shit from Chattanooga came up here, and like I didn't like the guy. I already know that I don't like him. He just randomly called me on Messenger, like I did with you the other day. But like I didn't know this guy. He friend requested me, and I saw it was Kenny's fan, and he instantly calls me on Messenger. Doesn't introduce himself. He just goes like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm doing this and that. What are you doing?" It was just really rude.
That is so weird.
Yeah, like it was uncomfortably weird. I was like, I gotta go. I almost blocked the guy. I was like, what if he buys something? I can't block him. So a few weeks go by, and Kenny tells me that he's like a trucker. He says this guy wants to meet us in Bullitt County, which is like 45 minutes away from Louisville, at a Waffle House because he's a trucker and he's coming back from Cincinnati and he'd like to buy $85 worth of merch.
Wow.
And I keep telling him, don't go. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the money. It's like, this is a piece of shit. And he says, no, you got to come with me. I need somebody to drive with me. And the entire drive there, I keep bitching and bitching. I was like, you're not going to like this guy. So we get there. And just to give you a heads up, this guy ordered a 2X shirt. And on the phone, or like in messages, he told Kenny, I want that shirt and a 2X, but I'm not fat. So obviously we knew he was fat. So we sit down in the restaurant, and he is like 2 hours late. We've already ordered food on his tab. And he walks in, and I know exactly what Kenny means. And he looks at him, and he looks at me and says, he lied. That guy was pretty chubby. So he walks over. He's the most annoying motherfucker on earth. He has the face of a 12-year-old. Like, no facial hair. He talks like this. Like, his voice is like breaking like he's 14. He orders food, and we ring up a bill of $40 for all of us. Like, we just ate a shit ton of food, right? It was Waffle House. We had this amazing waitress. She was super funny. She joked around with us. She put Kenny in his place. Like, it was just, she was like badass. So he keeps trying to out promo Kenny. So Kenny's fucking with him, making fun of how he doesn't have any female friends and shit. And every time he can come up with a comeback, he just goes, touche, touche. It sounds like a donkey. And he must have said touche 50 times the entire time we were there. So he pays Kenny at the end. We're all super annoyed with this guy. At one point, Chris got up and started a conversation with another customer just to get away from this guy.
Wow.
So he's having a conversation, and Jordan is telling me that he has this Japanese video game. And he was like, do you think Chris has it? And I was like, yeah, like you can ask him, but he definitely has it. He had everything as a kid. So Jordan walks over, interrupts their conversation. It's just looking them in the face, like he's like inches away from their faces, just like watching them. And Chris goes, what the hell do you want? And he says, I have this video game. Do you have it? And he tells him the name. And Chris is like, yeah, I have it twice in my attic. And then Jordan just looks at him and says, I'll sell it to you for $35. And Chris is like, you idiot. I already have 2 copies. I'm not going to buy that. So he's just a moron. He walks over. He pays the bill. And then the waitress suddenly starts acting really differently to us, like ignoring us. She's super pissed. So Kenny asks him, of course, I told you that I was going to tell you that story with Kenny, and now I'm telling you the entire story. Kenny asked him, what did you tip her? Or did you tip her? And he's like, yeah, I left her the change. And he was like, how much was the change? And he was like 37 cents.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Kenny went off on him. He's like, you are a fucking moron. Why did you not tip her? And he was like, I'm cheap, Kenny. And Kenny was like, no, not with me. You're not cheap. That's not cheap. That's some motherfucking bullshit. So he made him dig in his wallet. He pulled out like a 5, and Kenny was like, keep digging. So he kept digging out more money. We gave her a really good tip on $40. I mean, it was really good. It went from 37 cents to what, $14?
No, he left her $1.17.
$1.17. We're so pissed. We remember the exact amount. She got like a $16 tip at the end because she really was exceptionally good. She was hilarious. So at one point, we've already tipped her. She's still pissed with him, but she's nice with us now. She realized what happened. And we're about to leave. And he looks at her. She comes over to take our plates. And he looks at her and he says, if you and I were to date. And she interrupts him right there and says, I am married and I'm certainly not going to date you. So, and I'm filming like half of this because it was so ridiculous. I had to film it. And I warned them. I told them he was going to be an idiot. So this kid, I mean, I swear to God, he looked like 12. So I'm filming this and Kenny says something along the lines like, Jordan, you're about 30, 35, aren't you? And he goes, 35? Guess how old I am. And I zoomed in on the camera. I'm like, this kid is 12. He doesn't have any fucking t-shirts. So now he's upset that I call him 12. And I'm still filming. And Kenny's like looking at him, like guessing. And I said, Kenny, you're not wearing your glasses. He says, that's fair. Puts on his glasses and goes, holy shit, he's 57. He was so angry. He was so pissed. But here's the best part. So he's about to leave. And no, we're about to leave. We're like already out of the restaurant. Didn't even say bye to him. We hated him. I'm already in the car. I roll up the windows, even though it's like 90 degrees. I'm like, I don't want to see this motherfucker. I don't even want to say bye. So we drive away. And within like 10 minutes, he called Chris 4 times on his cell phone. Chris had to block his fucking number.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then the story goes on. Then like a few weeks, he followed me on Instagram and I didn't know. And I had a shot, a NSFW shot, not safe for work, but it wasn't that bad. It was just not safe for work. And he commented on it. He's like, what's this shit? And it was in the shot. I was also painting. I don't know if you've seen it, but obviously the focus wasn't on the painting. Mm-hmm. But because of the painting, I said, it's talent, Jordan. But of course you wouldn't know that. And he was like, of course I know that. Why would I not know that? And I said, sucking dick at truck stops doesn't count as talent. And he continues to do shit like this to me. Like, he doesn't understand. He isn't in on the joke. And so the other day he was commenting on another picture of mine. He made like a second account because we all blocked him. So he got back in. He commented on another picture of mine. I don't remember what he said, but I roasted him again. I was like, I posted that hypocrisy is dressing super 90s and drinking scotch that's older than me because, you know, I'm 21. And he commented on it. He's like, scotch sucks. You should drink bourbon. I'm like, you suck. You know, like, I love bourbon, but fuck him. You suck. And he's trying to get back, you know, and I don't know, and I'm roasting him, and I'm just being like really, really mean because I have no patience for this guy. So at the end, he has no comeback, and I said, "Are you touche yet?" So that's why he was showing me at the Amore saying touche because we associate that with this piece of shit. Touche, touche. I swear that's on the microphone fucking up. That was his voice. And when we get to talk to Kenny about it, I'll have you tell the second part of the story. There was another person in that Waffle House who was bigger than Kenny, and asked Kenny to make him a wrestler. So I'll have him tell that part because I wasn't even paying attention, but he fucked with this guy left and right too. So the bottom line is we're not welcome at Waffle Houses in Bullitt County anymore.
Sounds like a fun time. I wish I was there.
It was great. I literally had to film it. Like it was that bad. He was trying to tell us that he was born in a bathtub or in the back of a truck or something. I don't remember exactly. He was the unfunniest sumbitch on earth, and he thought he was the shit. He was trying to tell us that he's like one of the smartest people he knows. Oh, and by the way,
he might be.
And by the way, he was 22. That kid had no social skills, and he is 1 year older than me. Looked at him, he looked 12. He behaved like he was 14, and yet he's older than me. I can't believe that.
Did Kenny legit think he was 57, or was he just fucking with the kid?
He was just fucking with
the
kid. I have to ask, Kenny, did you really think Jordan was 30 when you? No. How old did you think he was? He was 22. I don't know, like he was a trucker, so we assumed that he would be older. It's kind of like an old man job. Yeah, no, he was stupid. He was also trying to tell us that his girlfriend was his left hand.
That's about right.
Yeah, he was trying to brag because 20% of his Facebook friends were female.
Okay.
1 out of every 5 was a lady.
I swear to God, there's no way I would ever be able to figure... Well, I mean, there is a way I could figure it out. I just would never take the time to figure out how many women are on my friends list. I just couldn't give a shit.
But you're also not stuck in a truck for like 90% of your time with no one but your left hand, getting ignored by everyone you call. Like, he was just so fucking annoying. He still calls Kenny all the time. His number's blocked, but we can still see it when it flashes up. Oh, at one point, Kenny accidentally picked up his phone call like a week ago because he was supposed to get a phone call from Jerry Lawler, who lives in Tennessee. And he saw a Tennessee number flash up, and he thought it was him. So he picks up the call instantly, and Jordan's on. He's like, "Hey, Kenny." And Kenny's like, "Oh, give me 1 second. I'm cooking. Call me back in like 2 seconds." He hangs up. Of course, number is blocked, so he couldn't call back.
Must be a glitch in the phone line.
Exactly.
Sorry, Jordan.
Glitch in the phone line. It's just a tiny glitch in the Matrix. Has nothing to do with your shit personality.
Well, since this accidentally turned into a quick episode.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I came across something awesome. I forget the origin story of this, but long story short, I saw a picture on Facebook. This woman in it looked familiar. So I clicked on her name because she was tagged in it, and I clicked on her profile picture. And in the comments, I saw this. It's from a guy named... Remember when Kenny was talking about, what was her name? Some lady he chased off on Facebook, and we were going to try to find her and bring her on the show?
Renee Bear.
I think this is what we need to do with this guy. His name's Stephen Iqbal. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Iqbal. Iqbal, I guess? I'm not sure.
Here's the comment. My dear friend, my Lord Jesus Christ, bless you all in Jesus' name. I want to tell you, all I am single, still single, young pastor. I need faithful, honest, beloved missionary wife. Anyone single looking me? I will do the marriage, almighty glorious name. God bless you more and more.
Oh my God, Jason, you have the perfect voice for like a pastor, like a Baptist service. I would listen to you every Sunday. Your voice is perfect to manipulate me. It's seriously perfect.
Not even 1 minute later, another comment. Hi. The same minute as those two comments. Ho about your alls. In the same minute as those 3 comments, I need your anyone complete life I do marriage, and I live with my wife lifetime.
Who writes things like that?
I wish I could remember who this woman was or how I even came across her being tagged in a picture But I would like to find her and that guy, bring them both on the show, and see if we can make a love connection.
She is a slut. He is looking for a faithful wife. Will they have a connection? 1 second. Kenny's on the phone because he's a disrespectful fuck. Who are you talking to? Is it not Jordan?
No, it's not Jordan.
Should we call Jordan for the show?
Maybe that could be a new segment. Trucking with Jordan. All we do is bring him on. We ask him where he's at. He tells us, and I hang up.
Man, this is the best idea ever. He would love it. Seriously. Jordan, wait. Chattanooga.
Thanks for calling in, Jordan. Talk to you next week. Just hang up. I even block his number until a week later. I unblock him. I send him a message, tell him to call in.
I think it's a great idea.
I love it.
He knew exactly when each and every state was founded. He'd be like, Kentucky? I can't even do it anymore. It hurts my voice. 1782.
I would love to have him on the show. Just for that.
I'll have to look him up for you, but I would unblock this motherfucker for the show. That's how much you mean to me.
I really do want to do that. Just trucking with Jordan is just this weird, obscure segment that means nothing to no one. It adds nothing to the show. It just makes me laugh.
You know, I would never do this motherfucker because he has no facial hair. Like, even his personality could be the worst. Like, my love of Benny Mac should tell you, they've got to have a beard. Did you watch the show last week?
No, I must have missed it.
You have to go watch it. It was really good. And Tucow, this huge-ass Labrador we got, he jumps up on the ottoman, and he knows when the camera's on. He was here just like a few minutes ago. When the camera's not on, and we're sitting here, and we can even act like the camera's on, talking to the microphones, when we want to take pictures of him with the webcam, he will not do it. He will only do it when he knows the camera's actually on and we have a show. And then he jumps up instantly like he knows it. And last week he came up here and I was giving him treats. And I'm trying to teach him how to say I love you right now. So I say I love you. And he goes, roar, roar, roar. He does these 3 syllables. And it's really cute. Apparently they have a contest right now on America's Funniest Videos for talking dogs. And I'm thinking of putting him up. But out of all the dogs we have had, that was not the funniest. We had a dog a few months ago, like 2 months ago, and we were just fostering him for a week. And our friend Walter took him. His name was Achilles, and he was this pit husky mix. Really cute dog. He was a puppy. But he had like the stain on his hind leg right down from his ass to literally his Achilles. And it was like this... It was literally shit brown. Like, it wasn't fully brown. It just looked like a shit stain. So we called him Shit Stain Nakamura. I called him that so much he started responding to it. Like, it literally looks like he shit himself.
That's awesome.
I have a video where he was just chewing on something. I went, Shit Stain Nakamura. And he looked right up on the camera.
Just want to give everybody a quick update on Mark Ofuji. I still haven't heard from him, and it doesn't look like anybody else has either. His landlord has told his friends that Mark moved out like 2 months ago. So hopefully he's doing fine. He just moved somewhere and he's getting adjusted. That's what I'm hoping. And Mark is a citizen of Japan, so a few of his friends that live in LA has contacted the Japanese embassy, and I have no further update other than that, but hopefully he's okay. I took him moving out and his landlord knowing about it as a good sign.
Well, let's hope then somebody hears from him. Could just be that, you know, he took some time off from everyone, which a lot of people and.
Well, you have a good night. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you. And text Kenny about doing a show in the next few days.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time. Touche.
Hey everybody, it's time for another not-for-children story, particularly an urban nursery rhyme titled Hot Ass Buns. Hot Ass Buns. Hot Ass Buns. 1 on Penny, 2 on Penny, hot ass buns. They got even fatter, P-H-A-T, after she birthed 2 sons. Girl, I'd like to get me some of them hot ass buns. My name's Mike Canestaro. Thank you again for listening to another Not for Children story.
The corn makes a flake for the breakfast. The fruit makes a shake for the breakfast. The flour and the baking soda makes a batter, and the batter makes a pancake for the breakfast. The batter makes a pancake for the breakfast. The leaf makes a tea for the breakfast. The bean makes a coffee for the breakfast. The seed makes a bush, bush makes a berry, and the berry makes a jelly for the breakfast. The seed makes a jelly for the breakfast? Well, the seed makes a bush, bush makes a berry, and the berry makes a jelly for the breakfast. The seed makes a jelly for the breakfast. The puppy makes a roll for the breakfast. The potter makes a bowl for the breakfast. The baker bake a big brown bread, take a blade and slice it up small for the breakfast. The baker makes it small for the breakfast. The pig make him bacon for the breakfast. The pumpernickel make a bagel for the breakfast. The chicken makes an egg, and the egg makes a chicken, and the chicken makes an egg, and the egg makes a chicken, and the chicken make an egg, and the egg make a chicken, and the chicken make an egg for the breakfast. For the breakfast. For the breakfast. Everybody wanna know what's in the breakfast. What makes the breakfast? Lunch and dinner too? The grain makes O's for the breakfast. It makes avocados for the breakfast. The tomatoes and the waffles and the chorizo make burritos for the breakfast. You'll make a burrito for the breakfast. Take honey from the bees for the breakfast. Take salt from the seas for the breakfast. The farmer raised a cow and the cow make a milk, and the milk will make cheese for the breakfast. The farmer makes cheese for the breakfast? Well, the farmer raised a cow, the cow makes milk, and the milk will make cheese for the breakfast. The farmer makes cheese for the breakfast. The O makes J for the breakfast. The makes a beignet for the breakfast. The mama says, "Hey, give the food away," but the cafe make a pay for the breakfast. Mama said, "Put the pay for breakfast." The grease makes a donut for the breakfast. The trees make a coconut for the breakfast. The gravity makes a sun, and the sun makes a heat, and the heat makes a cloud, and the cloud makes a rain, and the rain makes a field, and the field makes a oat, and the oat makes granola for the breakfast. Wait, for the gravity makes granola for the breakfast? Well, yes. What makes the breakfast? What's in sausage? Don't ask, but I know the oven makes heat for the breakfast. The wood makes a seat for the breakfast. The shredder shreds wheat for the breakfast. A little sugar makes it sweet for the breakfast. The cow and the pig and the goat and the goose and the hog and the horse and the mouse and the moose and the dog and the cat and the bird and the bat. Everybody's gonna eat for the breakfast. What about the ghost? The ghost eats nothing for the breakfast. The ghost eats nothing for the breakfast? The ghost eats toast for the breakfast. Yeah, the ghost eats toast for the breakfast. Sure, the ghost eats toast for the breakfast. Everybody knows that the ghost eats toast for the breakfast. Everybody knows that the ghost eats toast for the breakfast. Ghost eats toast. Everybody knows that the ghost eats toast for the breakfast. Ghost eats toast. Everybody knows that the ghost eats toast for the breakfast. Ghost eats toast. Everybody knows. Everybody wants to know what makes the breakfast.
Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies. This week, you've already heard the main show. We got a bonus show. Well, we got the Thursday show coming up.
Bonus.
Yeah. There may be a bonus show, which you may or may not have heard by now because I have no idea which order this is going in.
Basically, Jason tried to get rid of me. He booked somebody else. I was like, no, that's not happening. And I showed up anyway.
Because you filled in for the person who canceled at the last minute.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, yeah.
I just sort of X'd your name out of your next appearance because I bumped you up.
He's like, because I'm tired of talking to her and she needs to go away.
So we go from rushing around trying to find a guest to a week where we don't have a show to a week where we may have anywhere from 3 to 5. That's how the show goes if it's your first time listening. Enjoy.
It's all or nothing.
And as always, I'm your host, Sweet Daddy J.
We're still trying that, huh? Still trying to get that to catch on? Okay.
It's not sticking.
I know. I just can't look at you and think, oh, hey, Sweet Daddy J. I can't do that.
So far, no one has.
It's very deceiving to the online listeners who can't see you and don't know how very much Sweet Daddy J you are not.
But I'm really glad that you're here today because after this show, we're going to be recording another episode that we have never done anything like. And it's something that I've kind of always wanted to do. This
is Jason's vague hour. It's like, I'm going to tell you nothing and speak in total generalities. I hope you enjoy. Kind of like how your parents teach you about sex.
They never explain what color the stork is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were very vague.
Do storks come in other colors other than white?
No one ever told me.
I only ever see them in white.
I assume so, but you know what happens when you assume.
Well, and they are always wearing like a male hat or something like that. Does delivery storks have uniforms? Who's in charge of that? Is there a human resources person who's like, our storks are looking shaggy. It's time to re-up the uniforms. Sorry, go ahead. My mind is
No, you're fine. I have nothing. It went so well last time we had nothing to talk about. I think we did like a half hour to an hour.
We can just do the nothing show. Can we just do the nothing show?
Why not?
That's one more show that you have.
It's the weekly nothing show where I bring somebody on with nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
It's almost like the radio show I used to do.
No topics, no nothing. We're just going to sit down and shoot the shit.
Yeah. So coming up it might be next week, will be the episode where we reveal all. I guess we can kind of get into it a little bit. I wanted to have an episode called Martial Law, where I bring people in who have a problem with each other.
Oh.
Hopefully funny problem. I don't want custody battles and shit. And then I pick a side, and then I pick a punishment for the loser.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So that's what episode you're going to be on. The only difference is there is no side.
I know, I'm like,
there is only a punishment.
Like waiting for somebody to pop out of a closet or something. Like who has he dug up? Who did he find?
And here is my guest today.
Yes.
I can't think of anyone you hate, so I probably wouldn't say it anyway.
I try really hard not to hate anybody.
It's got to be tough.
Because when I get angry, I get so very, very angry. It's best just to keep cool. But I feel like because of my temperament, I'm like a volcano. I just like blow and spew bullshit everywhere and like just destroy relationships. And then like after I'm done, I'm like, oh, hey, I'm sorry. I think there's a lot of people that hate me.
You know, looking back, that might have been my fault.
Yeah, I may have been a bitch. Yeah. Yeah.
Now that I've calmed down, I can see why you were pissed I slapped your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
I really thought that it was your fault.
There are absolutely times where I know that I have gone over the line and I regret them greatly. But what's funny is I know there are people who hate me. There's a kid who hates me because apparently in 5th grade, I took his new pencil and snapped it in half. Like, according to him, he was doing something behind me. I'd had enough. I just turned around, grabbed his pencil, and snapped it in half. I have no recollection of this event, ever. I only know that he hates me because he worked with my sister briefly and told her this story. I had no idea that you were harboring secret resentments towards me.
Over a pencil?
Yeah.
What grade did you say you were in?
It was like 4th or 5th grade. I mean...
Okay. I kind of see it a little more. I mean, that's not like you were in kindergarten.
I totally believe that I said that. I mean, I really, really do.
I got the shit beat out of me in kindergarten. And I didn't see it coming. we were just running around. I don't know what we were doing. I just remember we were on recess and everybody was running the same direction. So I can't imagine what that game was. Mm-hmm. But I was talking to somebody about how I wanted to go home and eat chocolate pudding. It was one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Well, there were these twins that went to school with us, and I went to a country school, and they were the only black kids.
Yeah.
It was Gary and Larry Edwards. And they were both bigger guys. Mm-hmm. And apparently, I don't remember which one heard me, but they must have thought I was making some kind of a racial thing, and all they heard was chocolate pudding. And because they were, you know, a bigger kid, he just beat the shit out of me from behind. I didn't even know why.
Because I love chocolate pudding. Our snack packs your trigger now. You're like, no.
I need to go to a safe place to eat my tapioca.
You know what? If you would just like tapioca, you would have been all right. You know? Yeah. He wouldn't have beat you up if you said tapioca pudding. He'd be like, oh, I'm not a lumpy white guy. I mean, in college, I had my freshman year, I was in a class, and we were arguing about social situations, about class and race and those things. And there was a girl in the class that me and her did not get along, and she happened to be a black girl. And when we were arguing...
And you happen to be white.
Yes, I should say that.
Or did you choose to be white, or you happen to be?
Is
that too personal? You know what? We'll just let that go.
But I said to her personally, she was bringing up a situation where she had not achieved, and I was like, well, maybe it's because you have a bad attitude. Apparently, she took that to mean I was saying all black people don't achieve because they have bad attitudes, and I had a lot of hate calls to my dorm room. People honestly believed that I was a racist, and only because I had a couple black friends that were like, no, she's really not like that. I don't know what happened. And I'm like, at first I couldn't even figure out what had triggered it. You know, I'm like, what did I say that now all of a sudden I'm a racist? I was like, oh, it's because I said that to her. And it was really just because I didn't like her personally. Not that she was black. I just didn't like her. You know what I mean? So
you never know how people are going to take stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of things in my life where I've done something and I had no idea that somebody was going to take it that way. But, you know, it's apparently happens a lot.
Yeah. I mean, in retrospect, like I can see why she would think that. But I'm also like, that's not what I meant. But I see why she wouldn't give me the benefit of the doubt. See, we were not friendly.
Yeah, I get that.
Well, I was having... I worry about messages because not many people message me. And usually when they do, it's something, you know, that needs attended. But I've been having this Facebook conversation. My husband and I were having this debate whether we needed to walk our 10-year-old into this party. This party is a girl in his class. I don't really know the parents, but I know who they are. They live 3 blocks from us. You know, to me, I'm like, we don't need to walk him in. You know, he's 10 years old. He can walk into this class party by himself. And, of course, my husband's like, no, we have to walk them in. That's what parents do. You walk them in and you meet the parents, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, they're having a party. Who wants 20 parents standing around their house waiting to be greeted? You know? So I asked Facebook what they thought. So, of course, people chimed in. Everybody said walk them in. Everybody said walk them in. I'm like, all right, you okay? I clearly am a lazy person. And I'm like, why should I get out of the car and walk them up there to have an awkward social exchange?
I can see your point.
But so I was completely wrong. But yeah, that message was just my cousin saying, walk him in. Like, you could have just put that on Facebook. Like, you don't have to send me a personal message to say, walk him in. Like she's so desperate. Like, maybe she's dropping him off right now. I got to message her. I want to make sure she sees this.
You're about to fuck up.
I know. Urgent. I'm surprised she didn't call, but yeah, that's... He's already been there for a couple hours now. Like, you're way too late. And Andy took him and walked him in, which was also written on the Facebook post. So read the whole, you know.
You know what really gets me? I'm one of those people, I would rather you text me than call me.
Yes.
But what really gets me now, because we've advanced in our technology, is when people want to video call me. I'm not ready for that
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Unless there is something that we have talked about where I want you to, or you want me to, something like that. Don't just call me out of the blue and just think, hey, we have to see each other while we speak.
Here's what drives me crazy, is there are people in my life who shall remain nameless, my mother-in-law, who like to call, and if you don't answer, they leave a voicemail. And the only thing they say in the voicemail is call me. Okay, you don't need to leave me a voicemail to say to call you. I already know that you want to talk to me because you called me. I know it's you. I've seen that you called. I will call you back. And now you've just made me have to go through the whole voicemail checking thing just to know that you want me to call you. I know you want me to call you.
And I hate checking voicemail.
Yes. It's just, in fact, I don't have voicemail. I accidentally put my voicemail into Spanish, and the only way I can get it back is to, like, call the company and have them reset my voicemail. And I'm just like, I don't feel like dealing with all that, because I don't want to check my voicemail anyway, so I've just left it in Spanish. It throws people off so bad, but nobody ever leaves a message, so it works out.
I might do that. That's a good
if
hack.
anybody says anything, I'm just like, I'm working on learning Spanish, so...
Maybe that should be a new weekly episode, is Mama Kate's Life Hacks.
Yeah, exactly. Don't walk them in. Put your voicemail in Spanish. Like, just in general, make yourself inaccessible. Don't call me. Don't call me. If you can text it to me, text it to me. Anymore, I won't even order pizza from places that I have to call. Like, if you don't have online ordering, I don't want to talk to any human being.
Yeah, I really don't like talking on the phone, which may not be the best, since we're going to be doing a lot of Skype interviews.
Yeah, that's true. As you're like, I don't like video calls. We're going to be doing a lot of Skype interviews.
Just occurred to me.
Good job, Jason. Way to be completely contradictory.
It didn't take long either. We didn't even change topics, and I contradicted myself.
It is spaced like 5 sentences.
Oh, shit. We did the accidental episode that I never published. I was going to put that out Monday, and I didn't have enough time to edit everything.
Yeah.
Because I had to edit the 2 shows that we did, and I just didn't have time for a third because I had to pack, and I was really upset because I had to spend all that time editing, and The Walking Dead just came out, and it was the season premiere, and something else came on that I really wanted to watch. I thought, motherfucker.
See, I have no desire to watch anything sad or upsetting or dramatic. Like, everybody's like, you should watch This Is Us. This is the greatest show ever. I'm like,
I can't.
Everybody I know who watches it is like, oh, I cried. They makes me. I don't want to cry. I just want to laugh. Like, there's so much horrible stuff going on right now that just to watch the news or read, I don't even watch the news, I read the news, is so stressful that I can't handle.
Yeah, there's enough depressing shit out there without having to just search it out for entertainment.
Yeah, I have found, like, True TV plays just marathons of Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
I watched that show just hours and hours. I'm like, I just need some Joe and Sal right now.
That's a damn good show. I really like that show.
You know, I'll tell you what I like about it. I like the fact that the idea is to mock each other, not the people that are unwitting accomplices, you know?
Yeah.
They're not trying to make them look stupid or embarrass them. Like, it's really about embarrassing each other.
Right.
Where there are other shows where they do that and, you know, they make the people look stupid, and I feel bad for them. Like, just because you happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, you know?
Yeah. The reason I like it is I listen to a podcast called Tell 'em Steve Dave, and Brian Quinn's on that show.
Oh, okay.
And I listened to that since, I don't know, 2010, almost since it started. Before Brian was even, or before Q was even, like, doing much. I think he was the sound guy or some shit.
Yeah.
And it was basically just another guy, they call him Bry, Walt, and Ming, and that was it. And then Q started coming in a little more often. And I remember when he was talking about just starting to shoot for Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
And he was taking time off from the fire department. He wasn't even quitting because he didn't know how it was going to go.
yeah, give up that job just in case.
And I remember him talking about how they didn't pay for shit like the first season or two. And it just had all these little inside things when I listened to the podcast. And it almost felt like somebody I knew got their own TV show because I was so attached listening for a couple of years before he ever got it. So that was kind of cool. And the same thing happened with the podcast. Tell them Steve Dave. They got their own TV show, sort of. It's called Comic Book Men. It comes on after The Walking Dead.
I know what you're... I've seen that show before.
Walt Flanagan actually wrote me a letter and sent it to me once.
Nice.
I have it around here somewhere. I think it's upstairs. So that's pretty cool. I thought about
your cat's litter box. It's right under that litter and poop.
If anybody listens to that show, they probably know how unusual it is to get a handwritten letter from Walt. Oh. And for those of you who do, little fun fact, it wasn't that much of a letter, and he wrote really big. It still, hey, I got to give it up to Walt for taking time out of his day to do that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. It is funny how you watch a show like that and you feel like you know them. Or you listen to a podcast or even musicians, or you're like, I feel like I know you. Your experience, your words, I relate to those. And then you're like, but I don't know you. I gotta remind myself, I don't really know you.
That's what made them getting the show extra cool to me.
Yeah.
Was after he sent me that letter. So it really felt like I had more of a connection than I really do.
Well, I'm so behind the times. I never even saw the show until a couple months ago. I don't know why. When we started watching it, and I realized, and I looked it up online, because of course that's what you do now. You sit there on your phone while you're watching, reading all about it. I'm like, oh my God, they've done this for like 10 years. I had no freaking idea.
I had no idea how many seasons they've been doing it until I was listening to another podcast who had one of the guys on there. And I think they're up to season 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And it really only feels like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I've watched it ever since it came on because I like the guys. I have no interest in comics, which is why I'm going to be at the Gym City Comic Con on the panel.
And why you bring comics every week and run a comedy show. And that makes sense. That really puts it all together, Jason.
There's so many contradictions in my life. I have nothing against comics, but it's just funny that I'm so into this show, and I watch it every week, and I have it set on my DVR, and I have no interest in the topic of the show.
Yeah.
I just like the people who are on it. I think that's the only television show I watch where I have no interest in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're going to call me up and ask me, hey, did you see this week's episode? No one gives a fuck if I watch this show.
True, but...
That's the channel? It's on AMC. You said true. That's Impractical Jokers.
Yeah. Comic Book Men is on
AMC, yeah.
AMC.
So you fucked up when you said true.
No, I said Impractical Jokers is on True TV.
No, I was fucking with you because you were actually agreeing with what I said.
Oh, okay.
And then
Like, wait, stop fucking with me. I know I'm right, goddammit, I know I'm right.
I am looking forward to being at the Gym City Comic Con. That should be a fun time. I'm thinking about doing some kind of podcast from there, just walking around talking to people.
Yeah.
But because I have no idea about comics or what's even at a Comic Con at this point, I really don't know what I would do. So it's going to take some thought on my part. And it probably will happen, especially now that I brought it up on the show.
You know what's funny is that I just now realized when you said I don't have any interest in comics, you meant comic books. I assumed you meant comedians. Like when, because I don't know, comic books. I never read them.
I used to read the G.I. Joe comic books, and I think I used to read Transformers too. I'm not sure. I know I read G.I. Joe for sure, but that was about it.
Yeah, I just like to read regular books, no pictures.
I used to read the Hardy Boy books when I was a kid, but after that,
I've been reading
really
trashy romance since I could read. Like, seriously, I used to take my mom's books and I would like hide them under my bed because I didn't want her to know that I was reading her like, Danielle Steele books and stuff. And I think people are surprised when they learn that that's my chosen genre is romance books. But I want to write my own, and that's my next big goal is to write my own.
Sounds good.
It's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, when are you going to start that?
Immediately. That's what I want my new laptop for.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because that's like my whole problem. Like in my head, I write stories all the time, but I never I stopped writing them down because I just have like a dozen notebooks of stuff that I'd never typed up because I don't have anywhere to type. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even writing this in notebooks anymore because I'm not going to do anything with that. I have to get a laptop so that I can actually put this stuff into a form that could be sent to a publisher. But I'm constantly, like, writing romance stories about people. Like, I will watch Impractical Jokers and be like, I wonder who, what it'd be like to be married to Murr. What kind of girl is Murr going to end up? How is he going to find a girl with all the embarrassing shit that he's done and had to go through, having a lie detector test where he admitted to cheating to his girlfriend? I mean, how do you he's been oiled up and put in a Speedo in front of a camera. How do you find a girl in that situation? That's my next big thing. Like, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, like I did that, but like that's not really conducive to my lifestyle
or money.
Yeah. I'm just not willing to go and be on the road all the time. I'm not willing to do that and leave my family and everything that I have here. So that basically that's not a career move. But, writing, being an author, like that is. So that's my next goal.
That was my biggest life lesson coming out of Pennsylvania was I am not a hotel person.
Yeah.
I pretty much just given up on comedy anyway as far as stand-up goes. But I don't think I could do it just because of the hotels. Even if I was okay on stage, just having to be in a hotel with all these people, just making... I grew up out in the country. I'm used to everything being quiet. And it's not that I look down on people in hotels or anything. I wish I was one of those people who it didn't bother. Yeah. Because my wife, it doesn't bother her at all. Yeah. And I can't deal with it.
For me, it's not even hotels. It's I get sick. I get car sick. I get air sick. And, if you're going to take medication to not get sick, then that makes you tired. By the time you get somewhere, you're exhausted. And if I don't take something, I feel so sick and I have a headache that I'm exhausted. So either way, I have to lay down, which just adds time. And, sometimes you don't have time to lay down. I'm not a good traveler, period.
My biggest fear now is I'm going to lose my house and have to live in an apartment. That's like the never-ending hotel room.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I was one of those people, but... Because out here would probably drive somebody nuts who's used to the noise because it's so quiet. Yeah. I've heard people say that. They've come to the house and they're like, man, it's just eerily quiet. I don't like this. Yeah. No. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, there's been like 100 cars went down this road today. What is going on in my neighborhood? Well, why are all these people around?
I mean, we moved from a street that was like a main traffic road to a street that gets maybe 30 cars a day down it, So it was hard to sleep at first because it was so quiet at night.
Really?
Yeah. And we only moved 3 blocks away. But just 3 blocks from the street was,
Well, guys, I think that's it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I'm still apologizing for the episode that came out last Thursday. That is not going to happen again, like I've already said. So make sure you tell your friends, keep spreading the word about the show, and I'll talk to you soon.
I just had a baby boy, as some of you may know. I enjoy being a mom, taking him along with me in his stroller on errands to the bank, Starbucks,
an iced half-calf venti, octo shot, 3 pumps cinnamon dolce, extra whip,
and the grocery store. What I don't like are women who see my newborn and then think it's okay to ask me deeply, personal questions.
Oh, what a cute baby. Did you have a vaginal birth?
Oh my, what a sweet little child. Are you breastfeeding him? I had this one lady come up to me at the grocery store in the wine section. Trust me, you need wine when you have a baby. And she said, You are so blessed to have a son. I bet you conceived him in the missionary position. Most boys are created that way, am I right? Without hesitation, I told her, no. I first got my man in the mood by giving him a blumpkin, which I then progressed into a rusty trombone. Then we made it to the bedroom for a double Cleveland steamer, and I finished him off with a reverse cowgirl. That's how you have a boy. Yeah, she was shocked. Lesson is, if you can't handle the answer, don't ask the question.
Clean up on aisle 5, please. Clean up on aisle 5.